I'm sat on the sofa in the Deaf Institute with a band who aren't definitely not from around here.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, this is Citizen, by the way.
Hey. This I would estimate to be our 5th time in the UK, but only 2nd time in Manchester, oddly enough.
How was it last time? Where did you play last time?
Yeah, Star and Garter in 2014, and it was crazy. It was like, I think the first sold out show, and it was our first time here, so it was crazy.
The scene in Manchester is pretty good for like the kind of style of music you guys do as well, but your sounds changed as well from the start. You're much more like pop punk initially, but you've gone more shoegazy, a little bit darker, like indie rock now. Was that like a natural progression for your sound, especially for like the new material you're releasing?
Yeah, we're just crazy like that, you know. We just like to, you know, keep things fresh. We're a young band, so as we get into things, we just kind of gravitate towards that. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people say that like the new record is like a kind of a total reinvention of the band, which I think is cool, but it's definitely not conscious. It's just like whatever we're into at the time is what we do. You know, we play whatever we feel like playing at the time, and yeah, so that's what happens. And so that, I think that's, you know, now it's just an extension of that.
And say with the tracks that you've released so far, it sounds like you've taken different aspects from previous albums. It's not necessarily like a completely new sound, but everything just sounds like a little bit more refined. Like you sort of know what you want to do with your work now.
Yeah, I think it's a little tighter now. It's a little more put together, a little more realized than it ever has been before. I mean, it's still Citizen, but you know, there was definitely no conscious keeping of any old elements or pitching of any old elements. It was just like, you know, we're the same people, but I think we're just, you know, writing better music now.
I think regardless of what we do, it's going to sound like Citizen, even if it doesn't sound like Citizen, because, you know, we're the ones writing it, so we're just going to put our fingerprint on it regardless. You know.
Totally. And are you excited for the album to come out? Literally in a couple of days now, isn't it?
Yes, we've been sitting on this record since earlier this year in the spring, and have been driving ourselves crazy just waiting for it to get closer and closer to the release day. So the fact that it's already here is so exciting. Seriously.
So what can we expect? Is it going to be along the similar vein to the tracks that you've released so far from the album? Is there any surprises on it?
I think the singles that have been released so far, it's hard to put like a finger on what exactly that we're doing, and I feel like that's something that continues throughout. Like it's really interesting and really dynamic, and I don't think you could lose your attention for a moment, because we're always like switching it up and just giving you hook after hit after hit for 12 tracks.
12 singles.
12 singles.
On it, yeah.
And I was reading as well that this work has been a lot more collaborative than previous albums with you guys as a band. Is that right?
Especially our very first single, Jet, that was something that was like fully realized as a group. You know, people come in with like bits and pieces of everything, and when it's all out the door, like it's a collaborative effort, you know. But as far as piecing it together, jamming it out in a practice space, Jet would probably be the one that defines everybody putting in, you know, everything we've got into that song as like one full band.
Was that song quite difficult then to put together if it was you guys all putting in stuff?
Nick came in with majority of the pieces, and then I don't know, it's just when you listen to that song, I feel like it makes so much sense in just like a really deep, like visceral way, and you're just like, oh yeah, of course. Like there was just like obvious turns and takes to do. Like it was a really, conventionally speaking, like the song structures is really sound, and then the things we do within that structure is very like Citizen and of interest, and always doing something different and new.
Awesome. So what can we expect? I've never seen you guys live before, and like the Youth album was like, I've probably like listened to that more than anything else. What would you say you can expect for someone to come and see Citizen live? In a few words. Say 5 words.
5 words?
5 words, yeah.
We are really good at rocking.
At rocking, is that like a hyphenated one? Yeah.
Hyphenated one, yeah.
Well, it's night 1, so we might choke. So I can't tell you for sure if it's going to be good.
You should just bring a pair of headphones and listen as we play, pretend that's how we sound, you know?
Maybe. So why did you choose Manchester then for the first date?
Well,
Is it just that?
Full disclosure, we didn't.
Not that
chilling,
we just
but
leave that. We leave that up to the powers that be to select
Yeah.
where we go. But like we wanted to return to Manchester since 2014 was the last time we played, and that was a really amazing show. And everybody was super receptive and really active and excited to have us be there and for them to be there and stuff. So we've been wanting to come back ever since. So it's exciting. I'm glad that we start here.
Awesome. And like I was going through as well on your Spotify earlier, you've made like a playlist of sort of tracks to do with this album, like tracks maybe that you guys are into at the moment. Like you had like SAR and like DMAs and people like that on it. Lots of people that wasn't potentially like expecting to see that you guys have been listening to. Do you listen to a lot of like different stuff yourselves?
Yes, as individuals, I feel like you ask us and we'll give you just 5 different answers of what we're bringing to the table as far as inspiration goes and stuff, which is cool. I think that makes it interesting, and I think that makes it harder to pinpoint. I think people are so obsessed with trying to track down exactly what you are doing as an artist and stuff, and I think we're able to mask it much better coming from like 5 different pools of music that we listen to individually.
So if then we went to 5 bands maybe that you guys could recommend us. You guys are from Michigan, right?
Yes.
Yeah? 5 bands coming out near Michigan that you guys like, because I don't know really anything about the scene around there. I know lots about Manchester, but like I'd like to hear your guys' recommendations about some new bands coming out.
Motor City Madness, number 1. The Flats, from Ohio. Well, from Michigan.
It's like the same
Toledo,
taste as
yeah.
Citizen, really.
Right. Secret Space are good friends of ours. Good personalities, freedom. There's a lot, honestly. We could go on for a while because that's just from me. Jake could take it and give you 5 more probably. Yeah.
I really
Well,
he's lying. I actually can't because he took all the stuff that I was gonna say.
I'll give a shout out to Tranquility and Silver Age from Toledo. Good people, good bands.
The one last thing I wanted to ask you about, aside obviously the album's coming out, and was I saw that you made like a Street Fighter game.
I play. It's supposed to be Mortal Kombat clone.
Right. Okay.
You know, I'm up team Mortal Kombat, not Street Fighter. But I tried to make just a Mortal Kombat game where it was us killing each other. You know, you think a fighting game would be easy to make because there's 2 people on screen and that's all, but it's actually like one of the hardest kinds of games to make. So like 40% of the way through, I gave up on it, and then I sat on it for like a month or 2, and then I came back and then I just changed it from the original idea to like a jump and shoot type game, you know, and it rules. So
it does.
and I'm working on an update,
Yeah.
and it's gonna blow minds. It's like a beat 'em up game. It's gonna be sweet. That's all I can reveal right now. That's all I can reveal.
The soundtrack for the game, all done by Ryland. He made 8-bit versions of a bunch of Citizen songs.
Nick edited all the sprites. We got a good team going here, whether it be for our video game company or music. You know,
It ain't just music, man.
This is MCR Live.